I'm going to take these two batteries and test short-circuiting them to see if they blow up, to see if when you store batteries in the drawer, if you actually have to be careful like Eldon says. So I'm going to connect these two, put them in there, and just wait around and see what happens. And if there's a danger, then those don't stand right there in front of it. If it blows up, I don't want you to hit. There they are. I would stand back just in case. After about a minute or so, they're just sitting there like little old batteries so far. As the battery test proceeds, continues. I just got done taking the batteries out. They didn't even feel warm. They just felt normal. And I tested them on a voltmeter, and they registered between 7.5 and 8.5 volts. They're 9-volt batteries. They've been in there connected like 5 minutes already, and I'm just gonna leave them out here for an hour or so and come back and look later and test them again. It's been well over an hour. No visible changes. It feels a little bit warm to the touch. Not hot, just a little bit warm. I'm going to take them apart and test the voltage on them. Okay, I've taken them apart, and I'm going to test the voltage. My little voltmeter with one hand, which is kind of hard to do. .2 volts. It's supposed to be 9 on a full battery, and the other one is 7.45 volts. When I tested them at the beginning, they were like 8.5. It's gone down some, but it hasn't like quickly discharged entirely. That's kind of strange. I guess they discharge slowly. Maybe they only have a slow amperage. I don't know. But I'm not going to worry about them exploding in my drawer, because this test shows me that they just get slightly warm under maximum exposure. Maximum discharge exposure. I don't know how you can get any more faster discharge than connecting two of them short-circuited like that. For my next test, I'm going to just set these upside down on this metal thing, so that it'll be the ends are shorted out, should be anyways, one would think, to verify that this is conductive. You can see it's 50, it varies the number of ohms of resistance there. It's all over the place. Just touching it on here. Let's set this to continuity check, and it should beep if there's continuity. Maybe this isn't the greatest clean surface. Maybe I should clean it up a bit. I'm just going to set the batteries on top of here hopefully they'll stay like that so that they'll should be discharging, short-circuiting. Just leave them like that in that little bucket for a while, see what happens. Okay, I've got both batteries in this bucket resting in contact with that metal surface. Let me move it over to this part of the surface that's the cleanest. And I'll just let them sit there short-circuited for a while and see if anything happens at all. My theory is that the amperage that these can produce is so small that they can't overheat. Okay, I took the batteries out of the bucket and they were still just a little bit warm. And now for the ultimate test, I've taken a copper wire and wrapped it around both posts in a figure 8 and twisted it tight so it's got a good tight connection there. And I'm going to stick that in the bucket, leave it there for a while. If this doesn't explode or leak or anything, then I'm satisfied that these things are safe stored any way you want to. Except maybe, you know, in acid or something. Well, it's been about an hour and it's dark outside, so I went and took it out of the bucket. Nothing happened. It's not even warm at all. I'm going to test it on the charger now, see how many volts it's got left. Okay, got my voltmeter out. Set to DC volts. And let's see what we got here. Of course, I've already done this, so I know what it's going to be. And it's 5.75 volts. And it's a 9-volt battery, so it's pretty well discharged, at least from a usability standpoint. Compared to the other battery that I didn't have the copper wire on, but I was testing it earlier with the other tests. And that is 7.6 volts. So that was pretty well discharged. It didn't heat up, didn't explode, didn't even get warm, no leaking, no problem whatsoever. I'm not going to worry about how I store my batteries.